in the dead of the living night.
13occult, Undertone.
This is Stanley Torrance, 13occult. This is the 13occult movie discussion of
Undertone.
And this is Jestart from 13occult. And my brother and I saw Undertone last night at the theater. And we wanted to talk about our thoughts on the movie, what we liked and disliked about it. I was amazed to find out that this movie was made on a $500,000 budget, which is pretty wild. The film starts out with the main character who really carries the film, Evie, and we see her taking care of her ill mother. And we also find out she does a podcast called Undertone with her colleague Justin.
The entire movie was filmed at director Ian Tewison's home.
Like we were talking about, this movie seemed to go with Evie getting into the skeptic character while her partner Justin was more the believer. And I guess when I think about it, it kind of reminded me in a way of like the X-Files, where the female was also the skeptic and more science. Mulder was more of supernatural. But I mean, so anybody watching this movie can maybe put themselves into that arena. Like even me and my brother, I would say that I maybe with this type of content was, or am maybe more the skeptic. That's what makes the movie maybe interesting.
This is a great film to watch late at night.
In the dead of night.
In the dead of the living night.
In the dead of. In the dead of. In the dead of. The living night. Coming for you.
With their podcast, when we see that they start to get rolling, they get an email with 10 audio files. They are basically hearing another couple who are recording their conversations, and certain things that are happening to the couple on these audio files are mirroring what's going on with Evie in her life. So as they open these audio files, along with hearing voices of two people that recorded themselves, there's some music on there, and it's bizarre sounding. It's like child nursery rhymes, and some of them are backwards. Music is like played in reverse, and they start debating whether they hear messages in there. And like you brought up about the skeptic.
Yeah, I mean, so if any of you out there who are viewers of this, like we were saying before, you can maybe put yourself in that character, you know. Or like with this content, like for me, I found myself thinking, is this something that I believe in literally, like with what the themes in this film? That's probably the interesting thing, maybe about horror movies in general, and in this Undertone film, which like we'll probably continue to bring up, you know, whether it's something you gravitate to, that you kind of believe in elements of this in real life or not. The movie had some interesting ways of conveying that, like with sound. Sound was a big part of it, like you brought up. And it was, you know, they did a good job at making it disturbing. So I think that's a big thing that carries this movie.
One thing they do is they start to open these files, and as they listen to them, Evie will put on her headphones. And the way they do this movie, you're hearing what she hears in her headphones. And in the theater, and I think you want to see this in the theater, or if you watched it with headphones, that would really help get this message across, because what she was hearing, the soundscape of how they did this movie was absolutely amazing, and it felt like it put you in another world. You started hearing all this audio, hearing the voices of this couple who were on these files, hearing some of the songs and the messages that might be in them, and it sounded so unbelievably amazing. And you know, with the theater sound system, you could hear the things behind you, beside you, and it really did immerse you in this film and make you feel like you were part of it. And the way they marketed this, they said something like the scariest film you'll ever hear. And when they get to the final act, I really felt that. I mean, the noises and the things that started happening and what might have been like sort of messages that were embedded in this childhood nursery rhymes that were coming out. I thought they did a pretty good job making that terrifying. And Evie, if she was the skeptic, she delivered that pretty well.
Yeah, so I think on that, some of the likes and dislikes that I had watching the movie. First of all, I maybe liked it more than disliked it. I would recommend people seeing it who like horror movies, and like we mentioned, the sound. I think that offered like a good, movie experience, and maybe kind of like getting you immersed in a way. I was gonna say like Blair Witch, which that was more of I guess like a documentary, where this is like a podcast, but still. I think this movie may have, I don't know, broken some kind of ground, with the format of it. So that's some of the likes I had. I would see it again because I did enjoy it. But I suppose with me, I kind of remain the skeptic in getting into these universes in a way. It sort of reminded me of maybe Amityville, and that's also the fun part of the movie. So you could ask yourself, does stuff like this, happen in life, like is portrayed in the movie? And so I think that's the fun part of the movie. When I got to the ending, I thought I took the movie kind of literally, because I don't know if there was any other way to take it. But those are my likes and dislikes.
I would say Evie is Nina Kira. She did a great job. She carried this movie, and she was the talking character on screen. You could see her mother on screen as she was taking care of her while she was basically in hospice. So made you feel like she was isolated in this house. She was sort of tied to this situation with her mom that was keeping her, pretty much isolated from doing different things in her life. So it put her in like this solitude type situation. And I thought that's where the sounds, when they started listening to their files on the podcast, some of them were horrifying. You would hear them like Evie did through the headphones. I thought it really created an atmosphere. This movie certainly is kind of a slow burn. You see a person sitting there on her computer doing the podcast. You can see her reaction to what she's hearing. And then obviously the viewer's hearing it, and that's setting the mood. That's a huge part of this movie. Overall, if I would say out of 5, this is at least a 3 for me, maybe a 3.5. I just thought it was well acted by the very few characters that were in it. I thought the mood was set so well, and the sound was unbelievable, and backs up that tagline that scariest movie you'll ever hear. It was a fun ride for me. And I know at the theater when I first saw it, I would turn sometimes because the sounds were all around you, and they were pretty wicked, evil sounding. So it was a fun ride for me. Like, I enjoyed this film. That's my take on the Undertone.
I would say the same thing, around a 3.5. So yeah, I would say go see this and let us know what you think.
And we look forward to hearing any comments. And we will see you on our next review. Have a good night.
In the dead of, in the dead of, in the dead of the living night, coming for you from beyond, moving air in the street, dead as night is living long. Coming for you